love this season. I hope you did too. Great players, great gameplay, lots of compelling stories.
Man, Jeff sure does have opinions. I wonder how those opinions line up with the general audience. Recently, Jeff released an interview talking about his top 25 seasons of Survivor, and it finally gives me a chance to tackle a common Survivor myth. That being, if Jeff likes a season, it's probably not very good. The primary source of this video will be this article here. Jeff Probst reveals his top 25 favorite Survivor seasons. Exclusive. Oh man, I hope I'm not breaking some exclusivity contract by talking about it. But we'll also be drawing from this article here. Survivor, Jeff Probst ranks all the seasons worst to first. This was a ranking of the first 19 seasons to prepare for heroes versus villains. And we'll also be looking at some interviews along the way that may help us dive deeper into Jeff's psyche. Let's get into it. Jeff's top 25 is sequential instead of a ranking, so let's start with Survivor Borneo, the very first season. I cannot blame Jeff for having it be one of his favourites. I honestly think it's one of everyone's favourites. I've yet to meet someone who doesn't like Survivor Borneo. Can it be a bit slow? Sure. But as Jeff says, it changed TV as we know it. In his original top 19 ranking, Jeff put Borneo as his #1 favourite season, and I do not blame him one bit. I wouldn't be surprised if the season stays his favourite forever. And then Jeff doesn't have a season in his top 25 until the Amazon? I don't mind him snubbing the Australian outback, Africa, and especially Thailand. Those seasons sure do exist to varying degrees of success. But Marquesas? A season Jeff just hates for some reason? Why? In his original ranking, he put it at 18 out of 19 and said it was our fault. We take the blame, but this was just a snoozer? Did he watch the season? And herein lies a potential reason for the mismatch between what we the viewers think and what Jeff thinks. You see, I'm not entirely sure Jeff does watch the seasons. Jeff lives them. He's out there with the castaways. He's watching the several hour-long challenges. He's watching them fail to fly kites. And most importantly, he and the rest of production are getting extremely fed up of getting torn to shreds by sandflies 24/7. Jeff has gone on record saying that Marquesas was the most miserable place to film, and this has soured his opinion of the season, leading to a weird disdain for it. But Amazon is a solid choice for top 25 season. I'm not surprised it's here. I'm just surprised to hear him speak so fondly of Rob Cesternino and then not include him on Survivor 50. Man. He then puts Pearl Islands, which is a surprise to no one. That season is consistently highly rated. I think you're legally required to be a fan of Pearl Islands. But he follows it with Palau. No All-Stars. I guess the rumours of Jeff actually disliking the season because Amber still robbed from him are true. I'm also not surprised by the Vanuatu snub, even though I love that season, because the winner voted off Jeff's girlfriend. Again, it's more than just the quality of the season that determines if Jeff likes it. Palau is an interesting season for Jeff to like. Jeff has said he tries to ensure Survivor is fun. Palau is many things. Fun is not one of them. It is dark, gritty, and miserable. It's a season of suffering. I personally love it for those reasons, but I'm surprised it's Jeff's cup of tea. Then again, did they give him Stephanie? One of the most popular female players of all time, and the epic battle of Tom versus Ian? It would certainly be a unique experience seeing one tribe get thoroughly dismantled in the tribal phase. I think this is a good time to point out that top 25 seasons of Survivor is actually more than half. There are very few seasons I think you're not allowed to have in your top 25, but there are a few, and we'll talk about them if they show up. Jeff then completely snubs Guatemala, which is no surprise. He ranked at 16 out of 19 in his previous rankings. Danny hid a strategy from production so it was challenging to put together, and the filming conditions were almost as miserable as Marquesas. It was hot. There were mosquitoes everywhere. I think Guatemala's a good season, but I can't blame Jeff for not putting it in his top 25. He then puts Panama next, citing Sari as a big reason, and that brings up another point. It seems, regardless of the season's quality, if it produces some legends, Jeff is happy to claim it as a favourite. Don't get me wrong, Panama's in my top 5 some days. It's his next item, Cook Islands, that really reinforces this. This is a season that is fun to watch the first time, seeing a true underdog story, but becomes a bit boring on repeat viewings. The first time the race twist can be swept under the rug, the second time it's not so much. But again, it gave us legends. Ozzy, Parvati, Candice, Penner, and of course Yule. And Jeff values seasons that give us legends. even if they're not necessarily the best seasons. We skip over Fiji because I think Jeff wants everyone to forget about Fiji.
Well, if you guys know how to make it, tell them how to make it.
I'm not gonna tell him anything.
That's cool. They ain't gotta tell me nothing, man.
And enter what is largely considered the golden age of Survivor. China, Micronesia, Tocantins, Samoa, Heroes vs Villains, all sitting in Jeff's top 25 favorite seasons. Where the heck is Gabon? Arguably the funniest season ever made.
I'm gonna use my blazing speed to win the hell out of this game.
This once again relates back to Jeff's personal feelings, and how what Jeff is going through during filming can have a direct impact on how he perceives a season's quality, regardless of how good the end product is.
Okay. Put
No
the ball in
rush,
the
no
slingshot.
rush.
Just drop it. Way out here, Charlie. What farther? Farther. Maddie, don't pull it back. Just set it forward and drop it.
Wait.
There's a common myth going around that Jeff almost quit Survivor because of how much he hated Gabon, and it's only sort of true. Jeff did nearly quit Survivor in 2009, right after Gabon finished filming, but he was going through a lot of personal stuff in life at the time. Julie had just broken up with him, he'd been doing Survivor for nearly 10 years and was worried that was all he'd been known for, and it reflects on his thoughts and feelings on the season. I definitely think Gabon is top tier and deserves to be in the top 25, but it's emblematic of how Jeff's vision of a season has almost nothing to do with how we get to view it after the fact. The rest of this legendary stretch in Survivor history being in his top 25, I can't argue with any of them. Oh, who am I kidding? Yes, I can. Why the heck is Samoa here? Samoa's such a lopsided season. It revolves entirely around Russell, and Jeff doesn't even like Russell that much. But again, Jeff didn't see the edit of Samoa, he just saw Russell be a dick for 39 days straight, and then get mollywopped by the dumbass girl he was so certain he could beat. I can see why Jeff would be fond of that, even though it didn't land as well with fans. In his original ranking, Jeff had Samoa as his number 3 favourite season of all time, he had Micronesia at 2, China at 6, and weirdly enough Tocantins at 11, which is disturbingly low. He used to have both the Australian Outback and All-Stars ranked higher than Tocantins, which I believe may be showing Jeff's shift in perception on what makes a good season of Survivor over the years. I'm glad Jeff's come around on Tocantins, that season is near flawless. As we round out the first 20 seasons, I think the 12 Jeff has decided to put in his top 25 aren't too bad. I think if you showed this list to anyone and said these are some of my favourite seasons of Survivor, the average person wouldn't be too upset. They'd probably be asking why you're telling them your favourite seasons of Survivor. There are a few snubs, but you know, that happens, it's personal taste. And then we get into the 20s, often referred to as the dark ages of Survivor, and we all know what's coming, right? Jeff's love for Boston Rob and Redemption Island means he'll put it in his top 20. Wait, what? He doesn't have a season from the stretch until Blood vs. Water? Which in my opinion is one of the most fine seasons of Survivor of all time. It was fine, I like it. I guess it belongs in the top 25. But this means Philippines didn't make the cut? The season that helped show Survivor wasn't actually stuck in a rut?
I'm playing chess the best way I know how, and hopefully, I'm gonna king me.
Or Redemption Island, as mentioned before, a season often cited as why Jeff is out of touch with Survivor? Why is Blood vs. Water here anyway? Oh, it's because Sierra voted out her mom.
She voted out her mom!
Yeah, I can't believe she managed to turn a 6-2 vote into a 7-1 vote. She single-handedly voted her mom out, what a legend. Jeff does redeem himself by putting Cagayan next, widely considered one of the best seasons of all time, and then he snubs San Juan del Sur. In fact, this is one of the few seasons Jeff has said on record he wasn't a fan of. He said it was a miss, and would all like Worlds Apart so much more. This is approximately when the fanbase really started to believe Jeff had lost the pulse on what the Survivor audience liked, so let's see just how questionable his taste can get. It starts off curious. Jeff opts to put both Cambodia and Millennials vs Gen X on here, but not Ko Rong. Considering Ko Rong is rumoured to have heavily contributed to Final Four firemaking, I'm not surprised it didn't make the cut, even though it absolutely should have. But again, terrible conditions and a winner he wasn't too fond of means Jeff doesn't like the season. More importantly, I think having both Cambodia and Millennials vs Gen X here really emphasises that Jeff is after those big strategic seasons. And his next favourite season is Game Changers, which is near indefensible. This is the most contrarian take of all time. He says Varner outing Zeke is a beautiful moment because of how Zeke handled it? That is certainly an opinion to have. And he calls Sari being out of the game another top moment, a moment many fans think signifies everything wrong with Survivor. I will admit this season may have been interesting to watch before you knew how it would be edited. Watching Malcolm go home like that,
I'm gonna vomit.
seeing Sarah big dog Sari with the Steeler vote, being able to actually witness Sierra's cutthroat game that we got a sanitized version of, those all sound exciting to witness. But that's not actually the season we got to see, and it continues to show the disconnect between what Jeff experiences and what ends up on our televisions. What does surprise me is that neither Worlds Apart nor Heroes vs Healers vs Hustlers make the top 25. Again, seasons people often point to when they claim Jeff doesn't like good seasons. Ghost Island made it though. You know what, I don't think we'd get more contrarian than Game Changers, but Probst, I think you've managed to do it. It is entirely because of the tie vote at the end. After 36 seasons, seeing something completely new happen makes him happy. It makes us have one of the weirdest seasons to watch, but again, not important to Jeff. He does slightly redeem himself by putting David vs Goliath up next. That's just an easy win. I can't argue, this season's top tier.
I did make a few mistakes when I was moving around the pieces. I could have gone like a second or two fast. It's a matter of the combinations of all the little pieces. Like there was like a move, like a left-right piece, has to move around the board in order. Objective, external validation that I did it right. Was that good? I mean, I think it was good. Maybe it was bad.
Then he says Winners at War is also in his favorites. Again, I get it. From Jeff's perspective, this is like the Super Bowl of Survivor. You get Tony winning twice, you get Adam trying to play the podium, you get the winners hugging him at the loved one's visit, which made me cry. It's all very sweet, but is it a top 25 season of Survivor? I do think top 25 is just too big of a number. I can't count that high even if I used all my fingers and toes. It encapsulates over half of Survivor. It makes perfect sense that some mediocre seasons are making their way into the list. I wish it was a top 10 instead. Now, real eagle-eyed viewers will note Jeff has only listed 19 of his top 25 seasons, and we're only just now entering the new era. I think this tells us all we need to know to figure out if Jeff is a contrarian or not. People have called this era many things. The best Survivor has to offer is usually not one of them.
Hey, you snuff my torch, Jeff? Snuff my torch. Huh? Snuff my torch. Snuff it. Yeah, snuff my torch. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, snuff. Go ahead, snuff. Huh? Stuff.
But the question is, which two New Era seasons did he snub from the top 25? Well, 41 is one of them. That's not going to cause any arguments. I do find it funny that his rationale for including Survivor 42 on this list is that they got to try 41 again, and it wasn't as bad the second time. His other snub is Survivor 43, which is another one of the very few seasons Jeff has gone on record saying he wasn't a fan of. He said he didn't like the casting and 44 would be so much better. Now, I'm a resident Survivor 44 disliker, so I don't think it's fair for me to comment, but I can promise you, when I get around to doing my own rankings, the season will not end up in my top 25. But you know what does for Jeff? Every single season from Survivor 44 through to Survivor 48. All 5 of them Jeff considers to be top 25 seasons of Survivor. I've got my views on 44, 45 is actually pretty good, I've been a bit harsh on it in the past. If he didn't include 46, he could cancel Christmas.
Big mistake.
And he says the reason Survivor 47 is here is because of how great Andy was. I agree, Andy is great. So why is he not on Survivor 50, Jeff?
Ich mag dich, aber dein Spiel war wirklich schlecht. Auf Wiedersehen, mein lieber Freund.
But Survivor 48, man. Probably the most controversial season in recent memory. Lots of people not liking it, but Jeff marches to the beat of his own drum. He's even said quite recently this is one of his favourite seasons of all time. This isn't a season he's ranking 23rd or 22nd, this is top 5 baby, top 5. And that really does show Jeff can be quite the contrarian. But I do have to wonder how seriously we can take this list. Every time Jeff speaks, he can't be honest. It's his job to advertise Survivor. Imagine if someone asked him for his thoughts on Survivor 49 and he just said, nah, it actually sucks. Just wait for 50. So is Jeff a contrarian? Or is he just doing a damn good job trying to get us excited for each season? Jeff has his issues, but I think we can be a bit harsh on him at times, and he certainly ensures I'm excited for every single season of Survivor coming our way. What do you think? Is Jeff's ranking consistent with your own? Is he a contrarian? Let me know. I'll make my own ranking sometime after Survivor 49 is, so make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss that. Until next time, I've been Henry Hickman Survivor, and I'll see you when Jeff says Survivor 49 is actually the new best season ever, I swear.